to get their political information, what % of Americans use the internet?
90.
Right at, yeah, 24%. So about a quarter of America.
That's it?
Wow, yeah. And this was in 2009, so I think it's gone up because so I think that's gone up quite a bit because it showed the 2004 election, the 2008 election, and or no, maybe 2000, 2004, 2008, and it went from maybe 7% to 13% to 24% in 8 years. So you can imagine, and that's why I really wanted to focus on these tweets, is because this is your generation that's going to be using these, and I expect that number for internet, if it's maybe the 2016 election, I expect that to go way up, maybe 40%, because that's where you guys will be giving it. So what I did here, I divided this example column, I divided it into 2 sections, one for more of a local example, and the other for a national example. But that really doesn't apply to the internet so much. So who can give me an example of where you get information from on the internet?
Google.
Google, okay.
Bing.
Bing.
Oh, what you saying?
Like search engine. Right?
Oh, search engine?
Well, that's one.
Oh,
Wikipedia.
website.
We're going to keep going on this. So what's the one you have here?
Wikipedia.
Twitter.
Twitter.
Twitter, right?
Why you say
So social network.
Social media.
Alright, so is Yahoo included in there?
That's a search engine.
Well, excuse me.
And what about say if I wanted to start writing about politics on the internet? How would I do that?
A blog.
A blog, right? And that's sort of the blog is a smaller scale form of the internet. So I'll put it here. Who can?
What about the percents for the 2?
How many you did?
Oh.
These two?
Yeah.
These two, your book didn't give a % of people who use these. So really, it's mostly because they're so small. Not many people get political commentary from a magazine or from the radio. And maybe that's why the book didn't put it in there. But those are the 2 smallest. Sort of small to big. Newspapers. Who can give me a local newspaper?
Oh,
Indy Star.
Indianapolis Star.
Star.
It's not Indiana.
So each city is going to have their own kind of a newspaper that will have a political section in it normally. What about some of the bigger, the more national?
Washington Post.
Hang on, one at a time, guys.
You want to take
The New York Times. Yes, that's one.
We don't live in New York.
We don't live.
Yeah. So I heard someone say we don't live in New York. The New York Times is a newspaper that's published all over. You can get the New York Times to your iPad here when you get a subscription. Does anyone?
Wouldn't that be internet?
You can also get a hard copy delivered to you, but most people choose not to just because it's more convenient. Does anyone know any other big national newspapers? USA Today.
Washington Post.
Did you say Washington Post?
Yeah, Washington Post.
Okay.
I like their cartoons.
I bet you so.
You like the what?
I like the cartoon from the Washington Post.
Yeah, I get the Times. I get the Times.
Yeah.
And
The biggest 2 that they mentioned in the book that you guys can probably write down. The Washington Post, and I put the WSJ, the Wall Street Journal. Those are the 2 largest newspapers that go to the entire country. And really that wasn't possible however many years ago, but now they can send the files electronically and print out the newspaper at a printing press. So they maybe send an email and they say, here's the newspaper, and then they'll copy it and they'll put it in the printing press and make physical copies of them. Okay, and the percent, does anyone have a guess? What % of people get their political information from the newspaper?
15.
40.
It's low.
Between 15 and 42.
what are you talking about?
30.
36.
What are you talking about?
34. 34.
34. 39.
32.
34.
31.
So, as of, isn't this interesting? I bet none of you would have predicted this before.
I thought you said it was most selected, that's why I said lower number.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
Well, I did it in that order because I think, I think that they're changing. I think they're growing and they're going to go in different directions here. Newspapers are steadily on the decline, and internet, I think, is going up. So I did put them in an opposite order.
I agree, I was just thinking.
You wouldn't, yeah, you wouldn't ever think though, think about where you guys get your information from. Well, how many of you guys read a newspaper in the last week? Now I have another question. How many of you guys have Twitter? About half? Half of you guys have Twitter? What about Facebook? Maybe more than half. How many? It's pretty often that you see someone put a political comment on Facebook or on Twitter, right?